What's going on? It's Ryan, and welcome back to the show. Yesterday, I said I was starting this show as part of my 75 hard routine. And 75 hard, they call them power tasks. So let me tell you a little bit about 75 hard, because after yesterday's post, some folks were asking me. I was taking a walk down the street. There's some people on Facebook had some specific questions, but I was just taking a walk down the street. One of my buddies walked out of his house and he goes, "Hey man, what's this 75 hard thing you're doing?" So I feel like there's quite a few people that don't know what 75 hard is, or they think it's just a diet plan or something like that. So I just wanted to go through real quick 75 hard and how it works. 75 hard is a program made by a guy named Andy Frisella. He owns First Form. It is a company for like nutritional supplements. It does not push the supplements in any manner. The 75 hard program. Andy is a pretty hardcore. Andy is a very hardcore dude. He is very in your face. He's very much my inner voice, right? You always have two voices going on. You have like the Andy, and then you got the bitch voice, right? So I love listening to Andy's podcast. I love his mentality. I agree with him on so many things. Not everything, but most things. And I love what he cares about for people and for the country. Andy is a great guy to follow. Check him out online at Andy Frisella, and he's got a great podcast. How does 75 hard work? Very simply, just like this, in no particular order. You need to take a progress photo every day for 75 days. You need to stick to a diet plan every day for 75 days. You need to drink a gallon of water every day for 75 days. You need to make sure you have no cheat meals. You need to make sure you have no alcohol for 75 days. You also have to do 2 workouts every day, 75 days, one of which has to be outside. And the best part of all of this is, if you fail, if you go from like day 1 to day 60 and you fail on day 61, you start all the way back over. Okay? So this isn't just a diet plan or a physical plan. This is a mental toughness plan, because when you do these things every day, whether you want to do them or most likely not, you have to make yourself do them. Okay? So I'm going to go back to that list, and then we'll go through it with a little more detail and how I did things. Everybody does things a little differently. Here's how I did things. Number 1, diet. I had already been dieting before I started 75 hard. I started 75 hard on the back of getting the good old Omicron virus. And my girlfriend Melissa said, "I think I'm going to do 75 hard." And I was like, "Well, I'm not going to let you just go do 75 hard. I'm doing 75 hard." So we started 75 hard together, and we worked through it. And neither of us failed. And we both did a great job. And I'm very proud of us, except for one small thing. In 75 hard, I forgot this part. You also have to read 10 pages every day, minimum, of nonfiction. 10 pages minimum every day of nonfiction. So what did we do? We decided to listen to audiobooks. And I didn't think that was a big deal, because I hate reading. I don't like owning physical things. At least I didn't. And then I listened to Andy's podcast when I finished 75 hard. And the crazy part is I did it 75 days straight through, okay? 75 days straight through. And then I ended up failing myself because I didn't read the book. Because I listened to how Andy spoke about you have to read the book. You can't listen. And that I didn't. I listened to the book. That's cheating. I failed. I completed every other task of 75 hard. 75 straight days on my first try. Except for I didn't. I failed. I listened to audiobooks. You need to read the audiobooks. So back to the diet. My goal was to get down to the lowest body fat percentage I could in 75 days. So I was always going to be at a cut. So I cycled different types of diets within those 75 days. Different things, tools I use. These aren't like fad diets. I'm going to try to do it this way and that way. I cycled my calories, I cycled my carbs, my fat, and I always kept my protein at whatever my body weight was. I am not a dietitian. I'm not a nutritionist. I'm just going to tell you what worked for me. If you want any help, I can lead you in some of the right directions. I can put together a game plan for you, but that's not what I'm pushing. That's not what I do. I don't own a business that does anything like that. I would just do it to help you out. Next is 1 gallon of water, which I think is a tough one for a lot of people. It wasn't that bad for me in the beginning. The tough part for me and most people is you're always running to the bathroom. You are peeing a lot. I would say about 3 to 4 weeks in on those 75 days, it regulated itself. Maybe sooner. Way less bathroom trips. Still always end up with one in the middle of the night. But what I learned was to front load my water. So what does that mean? I worked out first thing in the morning. I would wake up, brush my teeth, listen to affirmations as I'm doing all these things, weigh myself in, and take my progress photo. I would then drink my pre-workout and then get some water in me. Once that water started, my gallon started, right? My gallon consumption started right there and then. I didn't count my pre-workout because I did that and aminos and stuff like that, right? I just did my true water. And the container I had was 32 ounces. So you do 4 of those, it gets you 128 ounces, which is a gallon. So I would do 4 of those a day. I would get through 2 of those by the end of my workout, first thing in the morning. I'd work out fasted. It's just easier for me. It gets the job done. If you have never done that before, there is a little bit of a getting used to it curve. It's not even a learning curve. It's just understanding you won't be as strong. You don't have as many calories in you, as much energy. But I think conditioning wise and also schedule wise is the best thing you do. That way you don't have to wait to eat and digest and do all these things. You just get after it, okay? Next step is going to be the 2 workouts every day, one of which has to be outside. So like I just told you, I would do my first workout early in the morning before I even went to work. I would put in at least 45 minutes. I will get into the program that I'm doing and have done in another video, but for the sake of simplicity, I would do that program in the morning, and then almost always I would go for a walk with Melissa and our son in the evening. And it was a great way to end the night. It was a great way to let out that last little bit of energy if you had it. Usually I don't. I'm usually gassed by then. But it most importantly gave me time to spend with my family. So we did that together. Next, no alcohol, no cheat meals. I stopped drinking almost a year prior to when I started 75 Hard, mostly for dietary reasons. I had thousands of reasons of why I stopped, none of which was I had like a true drinking problem. It was more just, the COVID and getting sicker easier and all these things, okay? Funny enough, I stopped drinking and I still got COVID and I got sick like twice since then, but that's besides the point. I just wanted to take better care of myself, and one of the biggest anchors and reasons why was I start seeing myself in my son, and I'm like, I want to stick around for him as long as possible. Now I'm 40, he's 2.5. I want to stick around for him as long as I can. So I'm like, why booze my body to death? I think the whole country has a drinking problem that isn't what people consider a drinking problem. I think we're all heavily sedated by booze normally, and it doesn't help us get to where we need to go. And now there are successful people that are absolute alcoholics, but those are outliers. The general public and the normal people, I don't think it helps us. I think it just helps us cope with not getting to where we want to be. Again, another podcast, another show, another video for another day. All right, so no cheat meals. That was also pretty easy for me, but I would say the biggest tip I have for you there is don't buy it. You have to, in order to eat this stuff, right? If it's a cheat meal, you got to go buy it somewhere at the restaurant or the store. Do not make the transaction. Shop on the outside of the store and skip the bakery, okay? Just don't buy it. That's my number one tip. I can go into all these different creative little hacks that I've made, and I will. But when it comes to the diet, just don't buy the crap. You know it's crap. If it's in the middle aisles, 99% of that's crap. Don't buy that. Buy the stuff on the outside edge. Get the hell out of the store, and don't get enticed by those beautiful cookies and cakes they put right in front of the aisle. Don't do it. This is a mental toughness exercise. All right? Reading 10 pages a day. That was clearly what I failed on the first time. Second time, I made a concerted effort to read. And if you listen to Andy's podcast, he's explicitly talks about how hard it is for him to read. And when I read, this is me reading, I'm doing this. I'm reading the pages. I've turned over before multiple pages and I go, oh my God. My eyes are moving, but my brain's over here. What am I doing? So then I gotta go back and read the pages. So again, it's a mental toughness program. These are the things you need to work on to better yourself, to focus yourself, and do the things you don't want to do that you should be doing. So I started cracking these books open and I would focus. And it took me forever to read 10 pages in the beginning. And by the end of 75 Hard, and I would say about a month in or 3 weeks in, not even by the end, I'm blowing through 30, 40 pages. I'm making myself shut the book because I got to go do my next thing. And again, in my schedule, how I worked it out was in the 75 Hard schedule, my progress photo was first thing in the morning. Plus, that always helps you. You'll look leaner in the morning. Progress photo in the morning. Then I would read and drink my pre-workout, fill up my water, start drinking that, finish reading, and then hit my workout. After that, it was basically you don't drink, you stick to your diet, and you go on your other walk. And it made it very helpful. And I think the most important thing here is, and I'll reiterate it, if you fail, only you know you failed. But that's on you. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to hold yourself accountable. And that's hard for a lot of people. Again, mental toughness challenge. This will change your body. This will change the way you feel. Change the way you look. It will change the way you eat. But it will change this so much more. It has changed me as a human being doing repetitive tasks that bettered myself every day. And he even talks about it, Andy being he, even talks about it in a couple of his podcasts. They would go out and look for ways to make things harder. For example, I went out and I had a streak this summer that I would look, if it's not going to rain, I'm good. Who wants to walk in the rain, right? But if you have to go walk in the rain, you got to go walk in the rain. Well, guess what? My butt would go out there. I'd start walking around. I'm like, it's a good day. And then boom, that summertime thunderstorm hits and there you are. Getting soaked. And I continued on. You got to do it. I did it as the hurricane was coming this summer. Thankfully, we got spared by the hurricane, but I got soaked in that and wind whipped. And I did 75 Hard in the beginning of the year, and I'm in South Carolina. It's not freezing here, but there was some freezing nights that were in the 35s, and that sucked. And I even traveled and did this. And I went to Minneapolis, and that was freezing and snowing. And I was being looked at by all the people walking in the walkways in the city, and I'm downtown doing my outside walk, doing laps, and it's just me and unfortunately homeless people out there because they don't have anywhere to go. And everybody's looking at me like, what is this guy doing? And it's snow and slush and water. My shoes are soaked. I got double layers of everything on. You got to do what you got to do. That makes you better as a person. Okay? So that is the 75 Hard in a nutshell summary. I will like to go through each and every one of these and give it its own 10, 15 minutes. But since people were asking some caveat questions and broad macro questions like what is 75 Hard, I figured I'd do that right here. I'm going to wrap it up. Please stick around. Let's live life better together. Let's keep it going. I said something yesterday at the end, and I think that's what I said. I need to go back and watch my own video. But I was like, that's a good ending tagline. I think I need to use that. And I think I just botched it. But I'll figure it out. Like I said, we're going to see where the show goes. I appreciate you. Thanks for watching if you made it this far. Make sure you like and subscribe if it's on YouTube, and make sure you share this with your friends. If you want to do 75 Hard, reach out to me, and I'll get you guys, where you need to be. Again, I don't make any money doing this. I just like it. And I like telling people about things I like. Take care.